Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to this session with the most amazing crowd of people. If you're following my progress through the afternoon, I've made it to my mum's and she's going to be coming in with a cup of tea and a biscuit for me. But first of all, let me introduce Paola, Gino, Hélène, Verena, Chrissi and Odie, who are going to be talking about the joys of open collaboration, stories from the picture book team. And you know what? I already have experienced joy in the company of you guys, so I'm going to shut up and hand over to you.
Thank you very much for this introduction, and I think we are going to launch here. So a warm welcome to our session. Can you all hear me? Yes. A warm welcome to our session. It is about the joy of open collaboration. Thank you for introducing us and the session, Lou. This is GoGN Fellowship project, and we have worked collaboratively as a team. You will see our names here on the screen. Unfortunately, Penny from Australia hasn't managed to join us, but we are very colorful and from every part of the world, as you will find out very soon. Paola. We need to change slide. Please introduce yourselves in the chat here. At the moment, we can't see anybody here. Okay, so this is our team. As you can see, most of us are with us. Bryan is or will be joining us shortly with the chat. And as you can see, we are from different parts of the world and different institutions. Please say hi, team, very quickly.
Hello, everyone from South Africa.
Hi, everyone from Italy. Bye.
Hello, bonjour from Canada.
Hello from UK.
Madame Hélène. And Odie. Hello, Odie.
Hi.
Okay, we can move on. So we came all together. Paola? We came all together to create a picture book, thanks to GoGN, who sponsored this fellowship project. And originally we were planning to create a book about open education, but in the process it became a book about the values of open education. And we have already heard so far from many speakers in this conference the use of stories and the importance and the power of stories. So we hope you will find our project equally interesting and relevant to the discussions we have had so far. Over to you, Paola.
Thank you. So what we did was to start asking people around their perception about the values of open education, and our data sources are made up with 55 surveys, 2 contributions from OI Global 20, and a workshop with 35 participants. So we collected 95 answers to our survey totally. And if you have the communities and networks who contributed, they are quite large. I leave you the time to read them also after our presentation. And we covered the 5 continents. We are happy about it. You see numbers here. And we had up to 16 countries contributing to our survey. So quite a large audience. And we asked the participants about the vulnerabilities and strengths of open educators. And as you can see, we had quite a large number of answers also. And people answered to our survey, putting into under the spotlight some characteristics. And you can see in red that some of them are common between vulnerabilities and strength. And we took them also into account. You can see curious, generous, and bold are considered on both sides. And which animals appear on the open and on the antagonist leaderboard? According to the answers we received, we have 27 open and 16 antagonists mentioned totally. And well, this is interesting because we also have animals that appear on both sides, also in this case. And this was useful for us to know, because actually what happens is that they are really just animals, as we are really just humans. And that was something, again, that we wanted to take into account. You see here, this is quite a large number of data, but you see, this is the big picture about animals and their open animals and their antagonists. And in red here, we highlighted also animals that were added by participants on both sides. And that's what actually we used in order to choose in between our work as a team B, because we were working into two smaller teams inside our activity. And well, that's what we wanted to take into account when we chose our animals in the end.
Verena, would you like to add something very quickly?
I was just going to add that the choosing of the animals was an exciting discussion, and it was interesting to hear the different perspectives of animals from around the globe and what one person would think of and the other, regardless of the data collection.
Great, thank you. Paola?
It's up to you now.
Yeah, push the button. I can't move anything. Okay, so what happened? We actually struggled because the ambition was to create that book, A Story Out of Nothing, and we didn't know where to start. The survey we got and the responses that colleagues generously contributed to, as Paola said earlier, were really invaluable on that journey. But I personally had sleepless nights, because when we started writing, it didn't feel like we were getting anywhere. And Hélène is smiling, because we will explain how we work together in a tiny bit. But it was fun, but it was also a struggle. But we hung in there together. And finally, Penny, who is not here with us, came up with a metaphor of open education as a river. And as you can see, we have used here a quote from George Siemens on the river of knowledge and how that relates to learning and open education, we felt. So we run with this. So the river symbolizes open education that is there for all. Paola? So as this is an open story, and it's an open license book and available already, I think Lou will share in the chat the link so you can have a look and read it and engage with it. We wanted the resource to be open also as a concept. So we used and we repurposed bits from stories, from fairy tales, from personal experiences, and brought that into the text of the story, but also recycled some of the images we came across through a conference. All of us, actually, all of the team members attended in Delft in 2018, the Open Education Global Conference. And that was an inspiration, because one of the keynote speakers there, Annemies Brøkgaard, and I apologize if I mispronounce her name, who is the head of public and education at the Rijksmuseum, made us aware and alert of the fantastic work they are doing there with making most of the exhibits in the museum publicly and openly available. So we were inspired by this and wanted to find a way to integrate that into the illustration, and that's what we did. So we used, on the left-hand side here, you see the exhibits we used, details of it. And if you have the time or would like to match to what you see on the right-hand side, you will see how we have reused, with Odie's help, of course, so all of these exhibits within that one piece of, well, within that one scene, you will see all the pieces of the Rijksmuseum represented. Paola.
So I guess this is myself and Gagan from GoGN taking on and speaking about translations. So we've been working on this project for 6 months, and together we co-authored a story that has only 154 characters, really. However, we've written
Words.
over 16,000 words across 5 blog posts, the fellowship report for GoGN, and then there are the 15 illustrations, wonderful work from Odie. The images integrate artifacts from the Rijksmuseum in the Netherlands, as Chrissi just said, and we are pleased to share that we are also in conversation with the museum to help us promote the work further. It's important to highlight the importance of translations in open education. It increases the accessibility infinitely, and we are energetically forging ahead with several more to share the story in all corners of the world. On this slide, we share some of those translations that have been done. 6 more are underway currently, and personally, I have plans to translate it into all 11 official languages here in South Africa too. So let me take the liberty of thanking everyone who's kindly volunteered to participate in the translation element of our story. And a special final shout out to Mandela University's OpenEd influencers and all of their efforts to facilitate more than 15 translations so far. So over to you guys.
Yeah, it's a massive achievement. We are grateful for that. Hélène.
Okay, so for 7 months we've all worked together using asynchronous tools such as emails, Twitter, DM, Google Drive, essentially, and we also managed miraculously to have some live meetings. I'm particularly thinking of the first one when it was all of us but one, which was an achievement. So through these collaborations, asynchronous and synchronous collaboration, we developed the project from the initial idea, using warm-up session and the seed survey that Chrissi was talking about, team discussion. So at this point we split into 2. So we had team A and team B when we got into the writing of the story. So team A had the initial ideas, as Chrissi mentioned. We came up with the idea of the river, and then team B followed up, did some more work with the animals and the text, etc., through the illustration and design of the book. And that is when I think Chrissi was particularly referring to some stressful moments. But luckily we had Odie, who did a marvelous job for us, and through all this process, and Bryan, of course, through all this process, we were mentoring each other. We were doing some peer review. We had loads of feedback within the team, outside of the team, to come up with the final version, which, as Gino's just explained, been translated into 17 and more languages. So if we move to the next slide, Paola, thank you. So our collaboration is basically is based on this creativity model, which combined several elements, and the focus for us was the openness and tolerance of ambiguity. And we'll explain that a bit later on. But the model also take into account focus on task, commitment, motivation, and divergence of thinking and acting, which was, as I say, what was the base for our work. And finally, we can move to talking a bit more about our experience. So, as Gino said, we wrote a series of blogs in which we reflected about why we committed to this, why we wanted to do this project, what worked, what didn't work, and what we learned. So in brief, I think that what worked was the open spirit of this project, the diversity, the fact that everybody could contribute their ideas, be listened to carefully. Ideas were taken into consideration. There was a lot of voices and enjoyment. I think it was also a way for it was a breath of fresh air for us. There were challenges, of course. We were spread all over the world. We were working in a time of pandemic with all the worries and challenges that implies. But we also learned an awful lot. And perhaps I want to ask Odi at this point if he wants to add a couple of words about his experience. Thank you, Odi.
Hi, thank you. So yeah, working collaboratively was a really fun experience. Since being at sixth form at the moment, most of our work that we do is sort of solo. We do all our artistic work by ourselves, and sort of working in a collaborative environment really brings in all the different opinions and helps to make things look better. And it's a fun experience, yeah.
That's lovely to hear, and that we are still smiling, I think also says quite a lot. So we went through the challenges, but we are still happy, and I think the collaboration will continue. If we can go a little bit faster, because I think we have to finish. Paola, can we move? What we wanted to highlight is perhaps because there was one slide about the fellowships, and the fellowship applications are open, the GoGN fellowship application until the 26th of April. So please feel free, colleagues, to apply. And I think there will be a link or a link has been shared already. Thank you.
Okay, is that it? That was immense.
Yes.
And fabulous. Thank you so much. Slightly took me by surprise there, because I thought for sure you're going to be like on a roll. That was absolutely wonderful. So let's have a look. People are loving the metaphors, absolutely loving the animals, loving you, Odi, as well. You've got a big fan following here building up. So, you know, watch out for that on Twitter. Anna's saying that she loves the fact that this collaboration has not only nurtured educator skills, but also graphic design skills. Oh, Javier is saying, and I'm feeling this from my heart, the pride in Mom's eyes. That's brilliant. Oh, I'm crying again. Any questions?
Nothing happens without love. Nothing happens without love. So we need to spread the love.
Nothing happens without love. Absolutely, Christina. Chrissy, that's wonderful. So people are just sending like amazing vibes, absolutely loving it, sharing the news about the fellowships. Any questions, folks? We've got 2 more minutes. Usually that silence at the end is because we're just blown away, and I'm sure we are. You know, that was just a glorious collaboration. You must all be exhausted, but you're all still friends, right?
Yes.
We are not exhausted. I'm speaking for everybody.
I think I'd just like to make one final appeal,
and I mean, the
though.
joy is also in seeing the finished product.
Yeah, no, for sure. Go on, Gino.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I'd like to make one final appeal, and that we'd like to have the story made more accessible to people from all over the world. So
Yes.
keep those offers and like sort of suggestions for translations coming in. Get into contact with us and find out how you can sort of embed this somewhere where you are, where open needs to be profiled. So let's advocate for profile with stories in our own languages.
Absolutely. What a great call out.
It should also be highlighted that Bryan Mathers and Chrissi and
Very
Odi
important point,
saved
Gino. Then thank you for highlighting this. The Rijksmuseum is also going to help us, they have said.
No, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. Verena?
Just that Brian Mather's Chrissi and Odie saved the day with the graphic design, and there's a huge shout out. Their hard work. We did a lot of collaboration on the side, but without their efforts, this wouldn't have happened. And it can only continue to happen with sustainable open learners around the world. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Thank you, GoGN.
Yes. To GoGN.
Thank you.
Oh, liking it, loving it.
All the penguins.
Thank you all. Come on, Paola. Come on, Hélène.
Nom nom nom.